Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have a video in the Tier 9 British battleship, the Lion, and all I can say is, I am so happy to be in this ship. I hated the Monarch with a living passion. I could not have a good game in her. The Lion, on the other hand, has been very reliable. I tend to get good damage out of her, whether I'm using AP or HE, and she just seems to be able to stick around. And that is really quite something, and for anyone who's in the Monarch, it is worth it. It does get better. When you make it to the Lion, you should enjoy things a little more. And from everything I've heard, well, the Conqueror is just another step up. So we're playing here on loop, and you can see we've pulled big ship, which is always nice. It's way better not having to run down ships bigger than you, but it is a very 9 match. There's a couple 8s and 1 7 on each team that snuck in. Oh no, sorry, a couple 7s. I'm playing alongside a couple clanmates, Zantek in the Chungmu and Aether in the Missouri, and as always, if you can get into a division in a game, find your friends, play together, things are just more enjoyable. And a big part of it's just being able to support one another. Now we decide we're going to go to Charlie. And I tend to go to this side of the map unless I spawn fairly far towards A, just because A can be a bit of a gong show. You get a lot of ships sailing in there, a couple destroyers hiding behind the islands in the middle, and it just turns into torpedo soup. So I find the more open nature of Charlie just fits my playstyle a little better. So I get the spotter plane up and I'm looking for things to shoot. And really this New Orleans, it probably poses the biggest threat to Zantek. But it's not super in range, and well, a big part of using HE is just getting fires on things that little burn. And the first volley, well, it misses, I believe. And that kind of stinks. But you miss, just keep on shooting. It's really the name of the game. And you can see now that the New Orleans is getting a little bit closer, it's going to be time to focus on him. I'm not. I probably should be. But fortunately, Aether is, and he's got the New Orleans turning out. And honestly, the start of this game was not great for me. I was just not hitting what I was shooting at, and it just comes down to me. That's not RNG, that's not bad luck, it's me aiming incorrectly. So I've been doing a bit of a disservice to the Lion because she's not that inaccurate. Shells seem to go more or less where you put them, and this should be my first hit. There we go. Couple thousand damage, not bad. You can see our Ognavoy managed to detonate their Bliskovica. So with A secure and most of the team over here, it's gonna be a bit of a fight. So what I'm thinking is I'm just gonna keep coming out to the east to try to like wrap around the outside. That's really where I want to put myself, and well, a couple thousand more damage on the DeGrossa. She's just gone. Look at that wall of torpedoes. Poor battleship never even stood a chance. And with those deep water torpedoes, they do a heck of a lot of damage, and they show up at the absolute last second. But despite all those torps hitting, well, the DeGrossa manages to survive, and that's pretty impressive to me. I really thought he would be gone with that many. And I don't know if it's because with the second set Zantek like spread them out so they didn't all manage to hit, or what. Now you can kind of see what's happening on this map. Like, both teams are pushing out this way, and this enemy DeGrossa, well, it's in a tough spot. He has charged in way ahead of his support, which is just a silly move. I've said it before, like, if you're in a destroyer, you can't charge ahead of your cruiser support. In a battleship, you shouldn't be able to, but clearly you can. And you really need to make sure you have ships that can put DPM down and help you get rid of the things that you're spotting and tanking damage from. But that's simply not the case. The first ship is going to be dead, and once he goes down, now this other Qckslvrslash is woefully out of position. If they start turning right away, they can probably disengage. And, well, with some shells coming my way from stealth, you can kind of see that that enemy New Orleans is doing what I talked about in my last game, where they're firing from outside of the range, just hoping someone is going to sail into that. And it's almost working. You can see them still just a touch short, though. Now, I probably make a misplay on this game. I decide, you know what, got the New Orleans over here, got the Qckslvrslash running. I'm like, okay, Aether, Zantek, I'm just going to push him. I'm going to deal with him. You guys defend our base. And, well, I take way too freaking long to do that. And I'm taking a good chunk of damage. One of the other things that really separates the Lion apart from the Monarch is this repair party. With the Lion and the Conqueror, you can repair what feels like over half your ship. And I did pop mine a little bit early there, kind of figuring I would keep getting peppered so it would work out, but end of the day, everything just suddenly stopped shooting at me. And you can see my indecision right here. I'm not really sure what I want to do. We've got the Qckslvrslash over on the one side. He's kind of putting himself in a corner. But then I've got this Nagato pushing in. There's an Iowa further back. You know, things are pretty even right now, but the enemies got the lead. They have 2 caps, and we have no one anywhere close to being able to do that. So I'm kind of going, let's deal with this Nagato. If we get rid of the Nagato, that basically secures C completely for us, and then our ships can start pushing that way. In the meantime, I'll be able to go deal with this New Orleans and this Qckslvrslash. And with that torpedo volley, there goes the Nagato. Okay, good. Plan's working. I'm going to get moving again. I'm going to head over to get the Qckslvrslash. And it just puts me out of position. I really shouldn't have. I probably should have just slammed straight into this bulk of the enemy. Who cares if there's a Qckslvrslash or New Orleans out on the flank? They're not hitting anyone. You can see there's no gunfire coming from over there. So they're not really being effective. And as I get closer to this Qckslvrslash, you'll kind of see why. He's put himself literally into the corner of the land. I don't know why he did it. I'm thinking he expected some of the ships to maybe sail south and he would just use his rear turrets. But he puts himself in a bad position. So I'm going, okay, I'm going to get him. Can see an Izumo over here, and then the New Orleans gets detected for a moment. Doesn't distract me yet, but when he starts shooting at me, it's going to draw my attention away. Now realistically, I should have just gotten in here, dealt with the Qckslvrslash, and turned out. But when I start getting shot at, you'll see I kind of slam the brakes on and go, okay, I need to shoot this New Orleans. He's going to wreck me. And between the shores and him, they do a lot of damage to me. But I waste time. And that's a problem. Something that isn't a problem for me is I'm already 58,000 damage into this battle. We're coming up on the halfway mark. If I keep that up, you know, crack 100,000, maybe 115. Which is always nice. You know, my kind of base metric for competency in ships has always been your ship's hit points in damage and get a kill. If you do those 2 things, you've been at very minimum a net 0 to your team. You haven't been a positive, but you haven't hindered them. My kind of like mark for doing a little better is, well, take your tier, multiply it by 10. If you can manage about that much damage, you're doing half decent. And you can see the indecision. I'm backing up now. I'm just wanting to finish this New Orleans. I want him gone. I don't want to ship out there on my flank. But I just can't hit him, and I'm wasting time. And that's kind of the issue here. I need to just get in, get rid of the Qckslvrslash, and be done with it. And you can see our Izmo has decided to come over here as well, because hey, there's a ship trapped in a corner, let's get it. And two of us way over here, when it's a dead heat, that means our guys back at sea are in an outman situation. Now the New Orleans, it's got to go dark. It's on next to no health. And we will end up dealing with this Qckslvrslash, at which point, okay, we've got a bit of an advantage. We can turn around. We're battleships. We can shoot from a long range. And, well, first volley, HE. I'm happy with that. Almost 7k. And I get a fire. But our Izmo cuts me off. He's trying to get, I think, all of his turrets on, and it just puts me in a bad position. Where it helps me is, hey, free armor. I'm not taking any hits here. That's always a nice feeling. But I have to be careful not to ground, because if I ground myself, I lose momentum, and then we're really gonna be in trouble. You can see for the second shot, load HE, I kind of aim for that upper belt, and 13,000 damage. Very happy with that, but the Qckslvrslash is repairing. And he's putting a bit of a hit on. It's kind of about this point though, I decide it's time to go. I've wasted enough time here, the Qckslvrslash is fired. Let's just get out. I can shoot him as I sail away. The Izmo doesn't quite finish him, so my volley, well, it does. But look how far behind we are. They have almost double our points, they've got caps, and they're ahead on ships. This is not good. And I recognized right away in our call that me and the Izmo being over here was a huge mistake. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm fine being critical of myself, because I'm critical of some of the other people's actions in these replays. So, gotta do it to myself too. Now the one fortunate thing is, I am a battleship, I've got good range. You know, I'm going to be able to get supporting shots in. They're working down that enemy Fletcher. Once he's gone, that's their destroyer presence. Then things get a little bit easier. But for now, I still have to close. And my first target is more than likely going to be this Iowa. You can see it kind of pushing in towards Aether. It's going to be the big threat. The Fletcher should get finished. It just needs one more hit. There it is. That brings us even. And we've got the destroyer advantage, but the problem is we're so far behind on points. And of course, right before I fire, the ship disappears, so I don't get to see where these land. And it's kind of neither here or there. I get one shell, so it's kind of one of those, did I lead too much, not enough? Is he stopping? Where is he going? And not getting to see those shells land really interferes with that. I've obviously got to worry about this shores on my flank, but what we've decided is we're focusing down this Missouri. We need to just kill ships. One ship, then the next ship, then the next one. And with shells in the air, him on 2,000 health, there's a kill. Buys us a few more points, a little more time. And with each kill here, we just go that much further ahead. And you can see that Enema Baltimore, well, he's sailing out into Aether's guns. Aether finishes him off, no problem. So, time for me to deal with the shores. And this poor guy turns the wrong way. He should have just kept kiting out. But turned in and decides, I'm going to face you down. And I think right now he's figuring, gets close enough, he'll get some torpedoes on me. But he is showing perfect broadside. I have no clue why. I'm not missing this shot. One Citadel, one penetrating hit. That's all it took. And just like that, their team is gone. And when we're not ahead on points, at this point, we really should have it in the bag. I'm up to 112,000 damage, 3 kills. This is a comfortable game for me. Now we are lucky the enemy team pushed the way they did. And you can see with the Musashi being the final ship, it's charging in. And well, I'm getting ready because I want to get some damage down. Take my time aiming, fire them, and well, my aim wasn't perfect. It actually was a little further back than I wanted. And at the end of it all, I walked away pretty happy. 133,000 damage, 3 kills, the 2 citadels, and, well, I mean, the one just deletion of that shores, and a happy game. You can see I didn't actually light all that many fires in this one, whereas I've had other games where it's like 20 fires lit, and that's where all my damage came from. And I think that's the biggest thing about these high-tier Brits. The Conqueror is the same way. I've got a buddy who's just absolutely destroyed people because they're like, oh, it's a Conqueror, it must be using HE. They turn broadside and he just wrecked them with AP. It happens. And if you're sailing these ships, you have to pick the appropriate ammunition. Just like if you're sailing a Montana or a Kurfürst or Yamato. There's times where HE is the right ammo to be using because you're simply not going to get a lot of damage firing just AP. And, well, I made a mistake on positioning. I sailed off chasing someone. Learn from that. Don't do that. Try to stick with your team. Help them out. End of the day, though, 3 kills, 2nd place on the team, and we got the win. Maybe we shouldn't have. The enemy team definitely had a strong edge, but they kind of sailed into us one at a time, as you see so often. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing. If you're in the Monarch, I pray for you, and yes, one day you will get out of it and get into something that is a lot more comfortable to sail. As always, though, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.